Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Side Talk with Ramy and Craig. This is episode 4 of our little podcast. And today, Ramy, we're going to be chatting about some juicy stuff. Do you want to know what it is?
Oh yeah, I can't wait
It's
to
juicy.
know.
It's juicy. It's actually based off of having watched Logan Paul's podcast where he actually interviewed Belle Delphine. We're going to talk about Belle Delphine, the Instagram, YouTube, OnlyFans star who is.
I don't know who that is.
Ramy
I don't
doesn't
know.
know who it is.
I don't know who it is.
If you're smiling a bit too much, maybe you know this girl a little bit more personally than others.
No,
Basically,
I'm just smiling because I really don't know who it is, but I have an idea.
this is incredible. Ronnie doesn't know who this is. Belle Delphine is like an internet sensation for her like quirky dressing up. She basically makes all these little faces that are very sexual. Anime, picture anime. She's from.
Wait. You said sexual faces?
She does like sexual kind of
Can you show?
cooking.
Can you show us
I
what is
don't want to.
sexual?
So there is a
Do
face.
it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do the
I'm not
sexual
doing it.
face.
It's the
All
weirdest
right.
thing ever for a guy to do. I showed Roman this off screen or offline. Um, I don't listen. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing that face.
Just do it like real quick.
For anyone who knows this girl already, she does this wee face where she like sticks out her tongue and rolls her eyes back, and it's really odd. Anyway, it's a bit of a fetish as well. It's on like those.
I like faces like that.
Yeah, well, you can maybe Google her afterwards, Romy.
Oh, I will.
What we're going to talk about is what she's doing at the moment with her own personal first ever adult film, which she's producing herself with her boyfriend, who's anonymous, of 3 years. That's the first thing,
That's a great idea.
right? And she
Yeah.
is going to make a lot of money, and also
Yeah,
what
but
she
no, it's gonna be great for the relationship, I'm sure.
I don't know, man. It would have been going on for 3 years.
Yeah. So I'm
Three
sure
years.
that's the next step.
She also revealed like how much she's making on her own OnlyFans per month, and oh my days, it is ridiculous. Maybe you will talk as well, Romy, about this YouTuber. He's from our local area. Just James. I saw one of his videos popped up in my YouTube, and it was all about his journey with feeling like he wasn't enough. He titled it 31-year-old virgin, and something like what not to do.
Right.
Since then, there's been some developments, and I'll tell you about that. We also might look at lab-grown chicken, which is approved in Singapore. So that could be the new way of eating, Romy.
Oh yeah. I love clone chicken. I dream about clone fried chicken actually.
Would you eat it?
Mm-mm-mm.
Would you, if someone offered you some lab-grown meat?
You know what? I'll give it a try. I would taste it. And I'm sure at first it will taste just like, regular chicken, right?
Hmm.
But I don't know, man. The idea of anything like grown, I prefer, the real thing, right?
Yeah, but
I,
like, try
the
and pinpoint
clones
what
rather,
that
yeah.
is. Everyone listening to this is thinking the same thing as you. They're thinking, yes,
Everyone,
I don't trust it. Well, a lot of people are like, I don't trust this. But what is it that we don't trust?
well, okay. Going, I think the underlying issue is, people think that man-made things are flawed. I mean, it can be flawed, right? So doing anything cloned, right? How can we be so sure that we got it right? And oh, eat this, okay. And I'm sure people eat roaches, people eat all sorts of shit and they're fine, right? But that's what I said. Like for like a one-time thing, I would try it, but would it be? Oh well, we got clone chicken and we got real chicken. Which would you want? I want the clone chicken.
I feel
Mm-mm-mm.
But I tell you what, okay, what if they came to you and said, Rami, it's going to be half the price?
Um,
Is that your new chicken that you
no,
buy? You've
no,
got two
because
choices.
no, no, I mean, if I was broke, maybe, but uh, if I had like the choice, because now I prefer to buy like organic chicken now. It's,
Oh,
as per processed chicken, so
that's
it's
what I was
even
going to
real
ask you.
chicken. Yeah, processed chicken again, like man kind of interfering.
Factory farmed, basically.
Factory farm, right?
So you're going to have on the shelf factory farmed, you're going to have lab grown chicken, and then you're going to have organic. Which do you pick up?
I mean, doesn't the word organic even sound better to you, even if you didn't even know what those meant? I'm gonna choose organic. You know,
Okay,
right?
sure. What if it's like, right, one chicken breast, it costs lab grown meat, it's going to cost you $2. For organic, 10, and for factory farmed, 4.
Well, depending on my economic situation at the time,
Your
if
current
I,
economic
yeah,
situation.
yeah, well, at the time I am going to buy this hypothetical situation. Am I hypothetically rich, or am I
Uh,
just getting by?
you're the average person who's listening to a podcast of Side Talk with Ramy and Craig.
If I was an average person, I'd probably use a processed chicken because it's still chicken.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
And especially if they put like some nice packaging on it and say, hey, you know, here's a recipe for how to do, chicken
Yeah.
fricassee or something. You know,
Ha-
yeah, this is the one I want.
Would you be open to the alternatives that they've got now to try and minimize the amount of beef we're using and use other animals like bugs, ants, cockroaches, crickets? In Thailand, they've got little like crisps, chips for you, right? You open them up, they're little like, yeah, there's crickets they sell and they're really high in protein. Like,
Oh yeah, give me 20 right now. No, I'm not gonna eat. I don't
why
eat
not?
cats and dogs because you could tell me a cat has, man. If you eat a cat, you will live, guaranteed you will live to 100 years old, right? I still wouldn't eat it. I was like, no, I don't want to eat a cat, man.
No, but we're talking because right, the issue, right, vegan, from a vegan standpoint, from an ethical sort of vegan standpoint, there a lot of them would prefer we eat bugs rather than like cows and things with real faces that we can connect to. From an environmental point of view, the environmentalist sort of people, they are like, yes, if it's less energy efficient, we need less land, we need less water, less carbon emissions or whatever. Like, no, we don't have cow farts going up into the atmosphere and just messing up our ozone layer. And from the physical health point of view, people who are concerned with the saturated fat of meat, red meats, and stuff like that, to have like lean protein from crickets. It seems like a win-win-win.
Well, no, it's not a win-win. How about for the crickets? The
Why is
crickets
it
might
not a
have something
win-win-win?
because the crickets don't win.
Okay, all right. So, well,
Oh, let's not think about the crickets. I mean,
so
that's the
what? You've got a
problem.
heart for crickets all of a sudden.
No, I'm just saying that people don't understand that everything has a yin and yang to this. Okay, you
Mm.
can't say, oh, let's do this and all our other problems. Problems are gonna always arise, right? And
It's a bit of
if
a
that's
straw
the
man.
case, what?
It's a bit of a straw man argument, though. You're not staying on point. Like, you're like, you can't just dismiss the problem because in general we have problems. You don't say like, I'm gonna not bother with smoking because we have like I have drinking problems too, and
Well, I
financial.
mean, well, you're right. It's all it is there's certain irrational thinking to it, right? But I would propose there is a rational side to it, right? Where if you really truly believe everything is random and probability and everything, all that,
We talk about
right?
this a lot.
Yeah, right. So I mean, it's all kind of, in the end, everything has a risk, and I'm not saying everything's okay to do, right?
Mm.
But you know, if the world, if 90% of the world eats chicken, and
Mm.
you start eating crickets, does, I mean, what's that gonna do?
But,
Make you feel better?
but
Okay,
you're
go
thinking
eat crickets, man.
you're
But
thinking
don't knock
so,
me. But don't knock me for eating chicken.
bro. But you're thinking so short term. Like the idea, the concept is people are thinking bigger than that. They're hoping that that'll catch on and it'll be a global initiative. Look at like whenever women
It
started
won't.
voting.
It won't, Craig. It will never catch on. Veganism and vegetarianism, if those are words even, right?
Not,
Those,
yeah.
those have been around, right? Forever. People are like, oh, I don't want to eat meat. No. All right. That's great. Okay. Good for you. Oh, I know a lot of a vegetarian. Didn't you go vegan
I
for
was
like a
vegan
month?
for nearly 2 years. Yeah.
Yeah. And you just boom, you just went right back,
Right.
right?
I wouldn't say I went right back. Like there was a bit of a process there.
Yeah, I'm not saying like, I've considered it myself for health reasons, right?
Mm.
And I'm not saying that it's not healthier, if it's not fat. And maybe, all I'm saying is don't knock, the person who's like, I like meat. I love meat, man. I'm like, all right, eat red meat, bro. Oh, by the way, that's like 80% of the world, right? I love red meat, right? So
Yeah,
I'm just saying, like, if that's the way the world works, right? Again, we talked about this last week.
mm.
Those people who are adamant about being a vegetarian, saying it's like the miracle clue, chill the fuck out. Okay, it is not the miracle cure for everything. Okay,
They would,
sure.
they would come back to you, Rami, and be like, "Well, look at these statistics.
No, kiss my
Heart
ass.
rate."
That's what I say. Kiss my ass. Okay,
But
don't.
Rami, right? No, listen. Okay, like I'm
Hold on. Wait. I just want to say this thing, right? If it works so well,
mm,
why is it like everybody doing it? I mean, if it's so, it's like it's so miracle and it makes your arthritis go away
what are we
and
talking about here? Are we talking about vegetarianism, veganism? Are we talking about alternative?
yeah, vegetarianism, because your argument was like, oh, this would be better for clone chicken or crickets, right? Would be or better for no, better for the environment, better for
Yeah,
not
more
the animal
sustainable
rights.
source of protein, I guess, or source of food.
Yeah, tell that to the lions who kill their prey. Tell them like, yo, hey lion,
You
don't
know,
eat this deer because it's
haven't
bad for
haven't
you. You
haven't
know?
been here. Listen, haven't been like mixed and associated and delving into the vegan vegetarian community. There are memes about what you've just said about the lion. They make fun of people who compare the lion's diet with what they say a human who has emotions and greater intellectual capacity, and they would argue that we have a responsibility as this like super conscious being with superior intelligence that we can see how the earth's going, we can analyze, we're scientific, and we should be taking steps in whatever way we can to make a better world, a more sustainable world for future generations. So they would say the way we're going is not sustainable with the amount of meat that we're eating. The way that we're going with the amount of processed fast food, everything is clogging our arteries. The way that we treat animals with factory farming ain't right. And it's pretty inhumane, and we're just covering our eyes, which is true. They're suggesting that there might be an alternative way that you could live with in a better world if you just changed your outlook. You just
If
changed
you
your taste preferences. If you just shut that off.
right. Yeah.
So play
What?
devil's advocate.
What? Okay. So I'll give them most of those points. Most of them are true. It is healthier. It is better for the environment. But on the other hand, right? Where you could at what cost? Like I said, yin and yang, right?
Mm.
You're gonna have more miserable people, right? I mean, that has a cost too. Oh, just taste the way you eat. Just do it. What's the problem? I did it, right?
Mm.
Again, right? I did it. You should do it. Again, that's what it's about, right? You want people to learn stuff. Like, listen, what did Google do, right? Google came out with a search engine and said, "Hey, use our search engine." Guess what?
Mm.
Yahoo had a search engine. You know, everybody. I
Yahoo
forgot what it.
not come before Google.
Way before, man, years before, right?
Yeah, Yahoo
They
before Google.
yes, they had yes that spider shit. I forgot what it's called. Some butler shit that the people use, right? AOL, I think, had a search engine, right?
Hmm.
Google changed. They're like, you know what? Use our search engine because guess what? Our search engine is better and it'll help you find things more relevant and faster to what the other guys, right?
Yeah.
And guess what? They were fucking right. And everybody started using Google, right?
What's your
So
point here?
my point is, if you have something that you think somebody else should do,
Yes.
right? Make it better. Don't just say it's better, you know,
Well, what if
make
it
it
is
better.
better? What if it is better? Like, listen, I ain't supporting it because I stepped out of veganism, you know. But from their point of view, they see it as instantly better. You change your diet, you're killing less animals. You
I
change your
say
diet.
that's instantly bullshit because again, if that was the case,
Yeah,
instantly better, you would have never came back to the meat side, right?
probably not.
Why did you come back to eating meat
I
again
can
then?
tell you because of my health, because of how I felt,
No, no,
because I
no.
was
But why did you
eating.
go back to eating meat?
Yeah,
Because you
so
eat meat.
that's what I'm saying. It wasn't an ethical thing, you know. Like, yes, it would be great if I didn't have to kill many animals in order to survive. But hey ho, thanks God, this is the little system you've set up here. We don't just plug our fingers into some port and get all our energy there. We have to kill shit, which is mad.
Okay, so you're proving my whole point.
But listen, the
You were
reason
proving my point.
no, the reason why I left was because I was super tired. I had no energy. I was taking all the supplements. I was actually feeling depressed, man. See, socially, it's such a terrible thing.
Again,
What?
thank you. You are proving my point.
You were
Yin and
talking about the
yang.
ethical thing. You were talking about like Craig, a if it was as simple as what did you say? Because I was mentioning about the animals that if you instantly change your diet, you'll be killing less animals. And then you came in and you were all like, "Well, Craig, what you wouldn't have switched back if it wasn't for if that was true."
Right. No, no. Because
The
one of
animal
your
thing is not right.
right. No, no. Because I said, oh, tell the animal to eat, be vegetarian, and you said, oh, those the vegan groups or whatever
Yeah.
would say, oh, that's so ridiculous. Okay, we are human beings, and we have an intelligent brain, and blah blah blah. Right. And by the way,
Yeah.
being vegan it's better for your health, and I said that's bullshit. That's better for your health
Can you
because
also
if it
be
was
more
if it was
respectful
better,
of vegan
right,
audience?
if it was better,
Yeah.
right, then everybody would be doing it. Now that being said,
Hmm.
I think all humans should have periods where they eat no meat. I think you should have balance, right? I really think there should be a balance and less consumption than saying no consumption.
Hmm.
That's I think that's a difference. Again, people are so polarized and they want their no, ah,
Well,
right? And nobody wants to look at both sides really.
so overall, we've decided with Singaporean lab-grown meat, it's a no-no for now. But would you wait for, let's say, 5 years, see what happens,
No,
and then consider it? Not at
no,
all.
no. I will wait for famine. That's when I'll
Wow.
consider it.
I think I would
Because
wait. And I would see some more testing.
no, I would wait for famine. I mean, that's just the way I feel. I feel like it's not unless we need to eat clone stuff. Why
Strong.
do it? Unless there is a shortage of chicken, and guess what? We need to clone some chicken.
Yes.
Why mess with it? You know, because listen, you clone chicken, you put farmers out of work. You put,
Yeah.
I mean, again, there's a cascade effect that so far it might not be perfect, but this is the world we live in, right? And drastically changing it just for changing or being better or being more ethical toward animal is not worth it. In this case,
Okay.
I don't want to hunt animals either. I'm not. We can talk about that later. I don't believe in hunting unless it's for food, right? Not for
Yeah.
sport.
Oh, for
Right?
sport. Okay.
Yeah,
Here,
yeah, that's totally against that.
let's move on to. Can we see this yet? Let's move on to this.
Oh, she's cute.
Right. So this is Belle
Nice.
Delphine, right? I'll give you a few more photos just to get an idea. Here she
Right.
is. So like she's making headlines. She does a lot of like sort of
Japanese anime type shit.
yeah.
Like, yeah.
Okay, this is maybe something similar to the face, you know. That I'm talking. Okay, there it is.
Oh, I've seen those faces before.
You know what I'm talking about?
It's kind of like you're sexually in a like state so erotic that you make that face,
Yeah,
or you
like you're
make
losing your mind or something.
those
Right?
in their mind, right, right, and it's like
Pre-orgasmic or whatever.
it's kind of savage, isn't it? You know. Anyway,
Yeah.
like a kind
Anyway,
of
so
savage Japanese anime thing. People
yes.
people are sick, but I do like it. I do like it.
It's such a weird
Yeah,
thing that it's like a fetish. It's like a thing. You know, humans
yeah,
respond to it.
right.
Like, but Rami. So basically, here's the thing. She has decided to release. I think it's in March, if I'm not mistaken. Production with her boyfriend, who no one knows the name of. They've been going out the whole time that she took the media by storm 3 years ago. She came on the scene with all this like dressing up anime gear, and we're going to talk about. You've got a little. You've got something relatable here. But
All
let me just
right,
sort of
man.
give the full analysis here.
I want to talk
She
about that.
she she basically came on this podcast and was sort of telling like what she's going to do and how she's going to do it. And she revealed her monthly earnings from OnlyFans, which is a website for anyone who doesn't know, where you can have exclusive, uncensored content through a subscription. And she charges $35 per person per month. Okay. How much is she making per month, Rami?
How long ago did she start?
Oh, OnlyFans is only like the last year, I think. So
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's blown up, by the way,
it
OnlyFans,
has. Yeah,
because
it's crazy.
even people who are totally not into technology and internet,
Yeah.
like my mom mentioned it. Like, do you
Well,
know what's on? No, I'm just kidding, but like, that'd be funny, right? But
last year I said,
uh,
yep.
right, right. I would say upwards of 100K a month, something like that.
So the average apparently for top earners on this is 400 to 500K per month, which is crazy. She's up close to a million a month.
Wow, a million?
A month.
That's crazy. That's crazy. That's nuts,
Like what she
man.
does,
We're in the wrong podcast business.
what's crazy about it, Rami, is right. So you've got the porn industry, and they just go flat out in every different genre, high production, everything. And then this is like, it's kind of what like social media did to the advertisers, the professional advertising world, or that YouTube did to like how setting up yourself on online. Sorry, I'm talking shit here. What did YouTube hack? Anyway, it doesn't matter. OnlyFans has made it more accessible and made big platforms like Pornhub and so on irrelevant or um, redundant to some extent. And tons of people are now making a huge living on OnlyFans.
Yeah, it's really a wonderful idea. I mean, I'm surprised it hasn't come out earlier.
Yeah,
It's
it
really a
is.
platform to kind of reel in Instagram. I'm sure Instagram wishes that it could have done it first, but they would have to go into this whole,
Yeah.
porn kind of world. But yeah, I hear people do OnlyFans not only for porn, but for other stuff, shit too. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean it's real, but it's made for kind of like exclusive content, and
Yeah.
when you hear exclusive content, you want titties out. But yeah, I mean, good for her. I mean, I guess, but I'll tell you what though. If I was her boyfriend, this would be a no go for me. I don't give a fuck if we're making billions of dollars.
Yeah.
I mean, otherwise, or we have a relationship where I don't give a fuck about you. Having guys jerk off to your fucking pictures and stuff is not my idea of, oh yeah, I'm cool with it. How many times did that guy say, no, 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 I'm totally fine with it, right? He has to say that all the fucking time to people, right? And
Of
I'm talking
course.
about like nobody knows who they are, right? I'm talking
Yeah.
about personally, people know who he is, right? Personally, right? So
Okay.
around the like, yeah, I'm totally fine with it though. All right, that's great, man. And people are saying that's great, man. It's good for you. You have such security. Bullshit. That dude is not cool with it. There's some kind
It's
of
been going for 3 years.
again, people trick themselves into thinking
For
that
three
it's
years.
cool. Yeah,
This could be what pushes him over the limit. Like
maybe he's really in love with this chick, and he's like, fuck, we're living. Hey, money changes a lot of things, man. And I'm just saying, that could be a kind of facade, you know.
mm,
To because look, again, and not as I'm not trying to say, oh, that life is wrong or whatever, because hey, you do what you want, I'm just saying, don't pretend like you're cool with it. It would be saying like, yo, I ain't cool with it, but this is
mm,
what she want to do, and I'm gonna support her because I love her. That's fine, right? But he's not saying that. I guarantee it. Right? I'm totally cool with it. It's just the greatest thing. I love showing her off, or some bullshit, that I've heard before from dudes who date strippers, or, you know.
yeah, I mean, he probably he might be loving it. He might be gaming all day, and then she's coming in with the money. She's
Yeah,
enjoying
again,
living with her.
that's not a good mix of
Not a
things
good
to.
setup, is it?
No, that's something that's doomed to fail. But hey, they'll she's making plenty of money, so they'll be okay. Because hey, no matter what happens, they'll be all right. She'll be all right because she's making all the money.
Yeah.
So she's like, I'm sure that's another thing. I'm sure she loves him too. I mean, otherwise she would have dumped his ass, a long
Mhm.
time ago as well. But good for them.
Do you know,
OnlyFans is great.
do you know who Lana Rhodes is?
I, I told you, man. I don't know the porn world. I don't know porn
She's
actresses.
a
I
celebrity
barely
now.
watch porn.
I listen. You don't have to. The thing is, see a lot of these porn actresses. They've come in and they've sort of gone more mainstream social media, where they do more like PG stuff, and they now do podcasts and they're in vlogs and stuff. They really like they've made their money, and because they've got a huge name, uh, they can just go into whatever they want. They don't have to do all that stuff anymore. But
Oh, that's
anyway, what I'm
great.
saying
See,
is,
that to me is I'm all for that, and,
yeah,
and I'm all for a means to an end. Like I don't get these porn women who try to do porn in their 40s from when they were 20 because
they might like it.
that's I mean that's some deep psychological shit. But anyway, yeah, that's cool. I mean, it's, that what surprises me that people who have relationships and do this thing. That's what I always like. Damn, yeah, my wife's a porn actress, or my wife's I have friends who fell in love with prostitutes, and
Really?
yeah, yeah, and and they was like, whatever, and I'm like, okay, man, or even not to get into deep sexual stuff here, right? But even guys who are down with like sharing their wives or having multiple partners together at the same time. Now, if it's just for like a one night thing, okay, whatever. But if they do on a regular basis, like, does that guy really care about you, or you care? It's just like it's just weird to me. But anyway, let's not touch that. Right?
Here's my thing, Rami. Right, this is something that the host of that podcast questioned her with, and I was glad he did because this was going through my head. The question is, right, somebody who has made it through raunchy kind of pictures, but not revealing, not having to do anything too risque, has got millions in the bank, has gotten to a point in her life where she wants to make a boy girl production with herself and her boyfriend, and put it out for the world. So all like full on sex, right? And that's going to be up there on the internet for the rest of her life. If she has a family, they'll see it, and and it begs the question: why? A lot of girls look at the reverse there. They got in the porn industry to get their bucks and get out. She she talked about it. She said that she's one of these people who always wants to take things to the next level. Does that not sound like a car crash waiting to happen?
Yeah, it's an idiotic response to a real question. You know, that it tells me that she really hasn't thought about it, or she gave herself kind of like a whim answer that she's not like, yeah, I just like doing things, you know, okay. You know, then things are gonna happen. You know, next level shit
Yeah.
is gonna happen to you. And I'm not knocking her. You know, you have the right to do this, and
You think it's just
uh,
she's young?
yeah, yeah. I like looking at pretty
Yeah.
girls on Instagram too. I mean, everybody does. And if you figure out, hey, that's a market, and you want to do it, and you want to expose yourself, sure, right?
Mhm.
But like when you said that you see these women who do this for a temporary time and do like other stuff that they always wanted to do, or kind of interesting stuff. I,
Mm.
I I I wish this young lady has that more in mind than do this for another 6 7 years or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But hey,
She's
again,
21.
that's not a surprise.
Very young.
That's not a surprise.
I think she started when she was 18.
Yeah, because she was always, again, it's the same thing as being a stripper, man. You know, if you are willing to take that step, you already have kind of things or like that's you're willing to cross. You have stuff in your mind that's like, okay, this is a line I'm crossing, and you can never go back,
Mm.
right? She crossed this line. I don't know if she showed her stuff, her naked yet. I'm sure she has in OnlyFans,
I
right?
think she has probably,
Yeah,
but
she has to, because she can't give the same content for
yeah.
the money that she gives that free, right? So, you know, all right, hey, that's okay. You know?
Have you, Rami, got any insight into this industry, into the porn industry? Do you know anyone who's been involved in it? Medellin is a big market. I
That's it. Well, it's a big webcam uh
is it
place.
a lot of
Yeah,
webcams?
yeah, a lot of people do webcams here.
Yeah.
I've met a couple of those guys, a lot, some of them,
Well,
most of
who?
them are, yeah, some of them are foreigners, some of them are here, you
Yeah.
know. I've met some webcam girls here. It's pretty much a sexploitation. It falls into that, man. And, you know,
What do
um,
you think? Like a lot of these girls are in positions where they're vulnerable. Like
well, I don't want to say that either.
just to clarify, sexploitation. Big statement.
Well, it's just, it's it's just that a lot of these guys who get into it are sleazy, you know.
Mhm. Yeah.
And I'm not. It is not because the women are vulnerable, or they force these women, or they go into like poor areas and they, hey, you'll make so much money. It's nothing like that, you know. Everybody is, complicit adults here, and they're, you know. It's just the I don't want to say the guys who run it. I wish they were more, you know, just not so
A
sleazy, I guess.
professional, like you're not going to get that. I mean, okay, there probably are professionals, but anyone who's drawn to that industry, I just don't think that they're the kind of guy, the kind of stand-up guy that we would all like to be running a spick and span shop
Right. It's
and
yeah,
treating people correctly. I mean,
yeah. The guys I met that do it are, just,
you do a million other things. It's
well, listen, like I said, I even thought about doing something similar when I was here, and I've been offered like to get
it's
involved.
just because it's the opportunity is there because you
Well,
see the women that are there.
well,
That's
it's
what
just
sparks it.
Yeah, I guess. And people say it makes money, so you're like, okay, running, running these girls and managing everything, just so, because it's like, okay, they do all the work, they expose themselves, you just give the platform
Hmm.
for it,
By the way, just
right?
just to the audience here, just to keep you in the loop, we're talking here. Romy lives in Colombia, Medellin, and it's actually basically an industry in his city because there's a high proportion of very good looking girls. And there are literally channels dedicated to show how to pick up people like Colombian women or girls from Medellin, or courses on how to pick up these specific women. So just to give some context.
Right. Yeah, and these courses, like I told you how to pick up a Colombian. I mean,
Crazy.
it's just, you
Addictive.
know, because a lot of they say they help people, and going back to your maybe this is a segue into the guy
Oh yeah.
right that your virgin dude who he said he feels
31
sorry
year
for
old
himself.
virgin who is documenting and telling people why he is a 31-year-old virgin and what not to do. We'll talk about that in a second.
Yeah, well, we might as well get into it now. I mean, this is a perfect segue.
Sure.
Right? So, like the guys who teach people who can't get, laid, right?
Hmm.
Um, in their home, in their area, like, hey, I come to Colombia and I'll teach you how to get these Colombian women, right? Um, I think that's also just wrong, man. I mean, okay, if you can't, if you want to date women,
Hmm.
right? You have two kind of approaches or three approaches, right?
Hmm.
And this is going back to your friend. What's his name?
I wouldn't say he's not a friend. He's
Or
just
whatever. You know what I'm
on
saying, right?
YouTube.
He's not my friend. I just watched him.
Don't associate me with him. Right. So it's wait, I do. Oh, because I want to just show you this. So right, this is his channel.
It's
Hold
not
on.
coming.
Sorry,
Yeah.
sorry. It's gonna right.
There
Okay.
you
So
go.
it's
There you
called
go. Yeah.
just James. See the top one, 2 million views 2 years ago. Right. So
Right.
31-year-old forever alone virgin. How it happens. I was very intrigued. I had to click on that. But just what I want to point out is he a bad looking dude or he's not.
Yeah. I mean, it has nothing to do with that. Good looking or bad looking. I mean, maybe the quality of women. I don't know, right? As far as like, maybe if you're not great looking, you need something to kind of get you by. You better have a great personality. But anyway, right?
Yeah.
Um, like there's three things, right? I think one, if you want to date women and you seem not to, that's a personal thing. You
Mm,
know, that is not them. It is you, buddy. And you need to work on your self-confidence or something. Something's wrong there. Okay.
mm,
And if that gets you depressed, hopefully you have somebody near you that's going to recognize this and help you out, you
mm.
know, before you start, going to kill people on the street or something. Right.
Well, I think
Right.
I don't think
Two,
that's the
I, I, two, I think, and I used to do this all the time. Right. When I was younger, especially because I was like a fat kid in high school. uh, you know, uh, People used to tease me, and I was kind of like, an outsider in
Mm.
high school, very, very different than
Were you?
what the guy see. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was like
You
trying
still
to like,
you definitely come across Rami as like one of the lads.
yeah, now, yeah, but even I mean, well, it's not like I changed. It's just that I just because of the environment. Again, I was overweight and I didn't
Mhm.
have experience, and people tend to be mean to that
Yeah.
those kids. I was one of those kids, and I was like kind of smart, kind of a nerd in high
Mm.
school, right?
What happened?
uh what happened? Nothing. I went to like how it changed, or
How did you go from like a nerdy fat boy to pulling
a fat
any woman you
a
wanted?
fat right? No, not any woman, right? But well,
That
here's
was
the
a
thing.
confidence issue.
Right. Well, here's the thing. Well, one year I lost weight. Right. I went to Egypt with my dad. God rest his soul.
Hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
And I lost weight, and I came back, and I just noticed girls were just treating me different. Right. That's how it kind of started. Right. Um. And then I started making friends with like the local kind of you know, I say street dudes, right?
Mm.
That people that hung out on the street a lot, that got into mischief, right? I kind of got into like friends with them, and they always had girls around, so I had experience, and I saw what worked and what didn't work, and I just started analyzing things as I got older and
Can I
older.
pause you on that? Just because this is something I think I chatted with a mate about this. In this genre, right? In this genre where, they literally have people uploading videos. Look at that, 9.1 million views. Being ugly, my experience, people crying out for help in their accounts from me. Because I delved into this one and I was like, what's the mentality? What's the angle? And all of them are talking about how they were too afraid to do this or they don't know how to.
Right. I mean,
You
I was gonna
just
get to
said
that. Yeah.
you
Yeah.
learned from your little experiences. Just a
Yeah.
side story, very quick. About 3 months ago, before the lockdown and everything, I was out at one of our local bars, right? And I was with a girl, and we were just chatting. We're on a little date, and this guy comes up, and he just out of the blue just starts talking to me. He's like, he was drunk. He was like, I could never get a girl like that. And I'm like, oh God. His face was like right here. I was like, first of all, take a wee step back, bro,
Yeah.
and I'll
Please
chat to
back
you.
up.
Coronavirus and everything. This is the start of it. And he was just saying, like, see you, the way you're talking to her, I could never do that. I'm like, it's not that hard, it's keeping it.
Right. I get that's I was gonna get into that. Right.
Yeah,
I think people put way too much makes things harder and bigger than what it really should be.
that's what he was
Now,
doing.
you know, um, you ever seen the 40-Year-Old Virgin? Remember that
Yes,
movie, The 40, right?
Steve Carell.
And Steve Carell, and I forgot like the black dude's name, the
It's a
comedian.
long time since I've seen it, but
Right, right.
okay.
And he's like, oh, what's wrong, right? And the black guy, he bluntly responds, bro, you put the pussy on a pedestal, right?
Yeah,
And I
that's
just,
that, right?
I started like, I was like, laugh because it's kind of true, right?
And all the comments in here, people are saying you're putting it on the pedestal.
Right, right. Well, that's the first time I kind of like heard it
Yeah.
like that, right? So that 40-year-old version, if you haven't seen it, guys, worth checking out, right?
Mm.
So I think people start doing that. Now, listen, have I been shut down before? Oh, plenty of times. So have you, right? The thing is, right? Not that even like, oh, you live and you learn. It's just like, hey,
You don't take it to heart. You
yeah,
just
you're just like, well, whatever. You might listen. Even you and I talk when a girl shuts us down. We kind of feel like, oh, like kind of like, oh,
I mean, no one
right?
likes it. No one likes
Right?
it.
Nobody likes it. It feels bad. You tell like, oh, you start feeling doubts every time, and I'm sure every guy goes through that, right?
Mm.
But the difference is, right? You're like, you know what? Fuck that. I'm keeping it moving. And your loss, right?
That's
And you gotta have to think that, and you just keep on going. It's confidence,
But
like,
that's
hey,
a
I'll
very
get
simple way to look at it, Rami, because a lot of these guys are analyzers. They are over analyze. And the way I would probably like tell them, and what I said to this guy basically was, first of all, you have to put yourself out there. That's something you can't avoid. Um, the second thing is that you have to understand they may reject you, and maybe for any one of a million reasons, and you respect that because you would reject a girl on one of a million different reasons. She might. How many times have you walked away, Rami, from a date or from like a group of friends say she's lovely, but I just don't feel it, and it's not even. Sometimes you can't even put your finger on it. It's just that spark. It's that attraction. It could be anything. So to overanalyze will just make you paralyzed. It will paralyze you from doing anything.
yeah, yeah, and coming from the girl's perspective, I I really I don't want to mention this, but okay. So I've had a girl recently tell me,
Mm,
right,
yeah.
right, that recently tell me that you're too good looking for me,
What?
right,
I would never
right.
say that to you.
I'm like, first of all, I thought me, right? Anyway, right? No, so I got so pissed at her, right? And I was just like, yo, never ever say that, Never say that to any fucking buddy. Nobody's too good looking for you.
Mm.
Nobody. I don't give a fuck if you're dating Craig Cruz or
You got
you're right. Right. That's what I call Craig. Right.
to change this
Uh,
down
right.
to
Craig,
Craig
Craig
Cruz.
Cruz. Right. Or you're dating somebody who's not so great looking, right? You never say that you're a dude. Like I hate when people say, oh, she's out of your league. I mean, I don't even believe in that. There is nobody out of my league. You know what I'm saying? So it's not even about like me being, oh, I just don't believe anybody has the, like, I am a human being, so are you. We're both equal on this plane. Now I might do things different than you. That's okay, right?
Mm.
However, we are equal, and I truly believe that. So when people start saying, oh, she's too good, or
Hold
I'm
on,
too,
Rami. Beyonce, Rihanna, right, are in the club, and would you say that you're on an equal playing field with them?
oh yeah, I would.
I love
I
that.
would. No, I would. Bro. If I ever met Rihanna, I would kick it to that chick, and I would at least get
Rihanna,
one date.
listen.
I would put money on it. I would get one date with her, and not because, again, that I feel like, I'm so good looking or whatever, because I just know, like, I would talk to her
No,
like a regular girl, and I'm charming. I know I'm that, at least, right? So I'll use my charm on her,
yeah.
and she might brush me off because I'm a nobody or whatever, and but it's okay. I totally feel like I could get it.
Rami, what you're not saying, and I think is important for people to like, any of you lonesome buddies. No, I'm joking. What people maybe don't see in what you're saying is, from the girl's perspective, that they might dig something in you. Like, a lot of the times you're with a girl, they dig something in you that you maybe didn't even see, that you don't rate very highly. And it's the same way about whenever you're with a girl. You might find like her, I don't know, just her kindness, or the way she mentally stimulates you, or just
Right.
yeah, like her humor.
Right.
It's just such a
Oh,
big thing.
yeah. Great point. Great point. Everybody got great. You're welcome. Everybody got great qualities, right? Right. The individual has to find what qualities you do have, and you better sell the hell out of that shit, and you better figure out how to sell the hell out of that shit if you want to find somebody, date somebody, whatever, whatever taste you got, right? I mean, that's the thing. You better find out what your qualities are, and you gotta be a salesman, because I'm sorry, that's what, people don't know who you are. You
Mm.
gotta talk. You gotta,
Respect it.
say things, right? If you see a girl, I mean, I get nervous if I see a pretty girl, like, oh wow, she's hot. I should go up there and buy her a drink or something. And I talk myself out of it. Oh, I know I'm not in the mood. I don't feel it, right? But hey, that again, I have done that. I
Mm.
have gotten the nerve to do that a few times, and sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. You
Do
know.
you know what's interesting about having dipped my toe in this genre, and following? What I did was click on their viral video of how they just are saying to the world, like, I'm ugly, I can't get a girl, I'm a virgin, I'm this, I'm that. And then 1 year later, 2 years later, whatever it is, life update with my girlfriend, or update with this person, and here's how I did it. And it's funny, Rami, is the lads that I looked at their stories. What happened was, it's the law of attraction, mate. I'm big into that. They put it out there, that they want a girlfriend. They want it, right? Um, and the girls that came into their lives reached out online because they felt similar, that they couldn't connect with someone, and they have become couples. So simply putting it out there and speaking it out, talking to your mate, saying, I actually do want a relationship, or I do actually want to get in the scene, causes little things to happen. Maybe your friend will invite you out for those drinks. Maybe she'll say, do you know what, actually I do have a mate, and things start happening.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's what Tinder is all about, isn't it? Putting yourself out there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same thing. I mean, he just used YouTube as a kind of a Tinder.
Yeah.
or whatever, you know. Yeah, I mean, yeah, great. But you know, if it was like my friend, you know, I
Mm.
would snap his dumb ass out of that shit fast. You know, it's just that you know, people like that again are kind of into you know, into a little computer world, or they stay home all the time. Get out there, meet people. You know, I mean, well, now's a bad time, right, for that advice. But in normal circumstances, get out there and meet people. You know, don't spread viral diseases.
I just pictured like a t-shirt with your face on it, like this. Get out there, meet people.
Get out there, meet people. You know, so. But yeah, you know, that's you know, it's sad to me because again, I feel them because I was them at some point in my life, especially in high school. You know, people have a hard time kind of believing that
Well,
because of my whole.
can I ask you this? Because you just said like girls started treating you different. Like how could you give some kind of example?
Well, I just noticed the girls started like kind of like uh, just being more smiling at me more, flirting, kind of being around me more. And you know, actually, it's not like I flipped that time. I was still kind of like, oh, for years, you know.
Mhm.
You know, even when I went to college and I was, you know, dorming there, I had all these girls like, hey, you want to come over my room and study? And I was like, no, I don't want to study. Right. And I just didn't, you know, I just didn't know like, oh, that meant this, you know, like, yeah, right. And I just thought they really literally meant to study. And I was like, no.
Wow.
Right. And they were
And
hot girls.
somebody who I would say is maybe reasonably street savvy, reasonably has a reasonable level of common sense. Wow.
Yeah, I
Good
mean,
for
but
you.
that all was learning stuff, you know.
True, true.
Right, you know, because again, listen, if you think girls got to figure it out, you're totally wrong. They're as confused or more confused as men, you
Mm.
know, or right. So it's just like we're on an even playing field, man. You know, and there are men things and there are women things that we both do because of our, you know,
Mhm.
our nature, but we're kind of on the same boat, you know. Like, okay, but perfect example, right? A homosexual relationship,
Okay.
right, is no different than a heterosexual relationship in terms of the dynamic, right? In terms of the dynamic, I'm just saying, in terms of the dynamic, there's
Mm.
like, oh, they still go through couple problems, they still have issues, jealousy, blah blah blah, you know, because we're humans. That's what I'm saying on a field. So if you start thinking of it like that, I think all that pedestal stuff
Mm.
just goes start trickling down. You know, even that girl like you just showed, right? I mean, like, oh my God, I would love to have a girlfriend like that, right? You know, right? Would you know, that girlfriend comes with a whole bunch of issues. You know, she might, you know, again, you got to think, and once you start thinking about that, like, oh well, you know, getting her ain't no big deal, and if I don't get her, ain't no big deal. You know,
Mm, okay,
that's
that's a
that's
good point. So, like, what you're actually recommending flawing the person that you're attracted to make them more human, to humanize them?
yeah. Stop thinking like it's some kind of treasure, unreachable treasure. You know.
Just think about her doing a wee poo or just picking
I
her.
mean, that's not my trick. If that's your trick, fine. You know, I don't think of a trick. I just think of like, you know what, that girl got that so many issues and stuff. You know,
Lads,
uh, I
if you
do.
have problems, just picture her with like a wonky nipple or something like that.
Right, right. Well, again, I don't go down to that deep, but I just say, hey, she ain't no thing but a chicken wing. You know,
There you
as
go.
they say.
Or
You know.
a Singaporean lab
Right. That's a
wing.
good one. Or she ain't no thing but a Singaporean cloned chicken wing.
There you go. We'll end it there, Rami, unless you've got anything more to add.
Yeah, you know, I did want to talk about crypto, but we'll talk about that next week. Da-da-da.
Crypto, at some point, Bitcoin stuff.
Yes.
Rami has invested. Craig, it's not my thing, but I'm interested. I love investments and all that kind of stuff, so
Yeah.
we'll touch on it. Um, and also, at some point, we might talk about. I always mention him, Jordan Peterson, but because we talked about women today and like the dating scene, he goes into the evolutionary view where women choose guys based on this criteria, men based on this. So the intricacies of that we will delve into as well.
All right.
Ramy,
Well,
good
great
to see
show
you.
as always.
It's been
Sad
episode.
talk.
There you go. Episode 4. All right.